Good evening. I'm John Bailey. This is People to be Heard, the program where people who have something to say have their say. John Bailey, joined by Jim Benerofe and Peter Katz, and tonight we welcome back Mike Gordon, CEO of Joule Assets and former co-chair of Sustainable Westchester, who put together the 24 communities, including White Plains, to negotiate a stable, unchanging green energy rate for a year and a half ago, and he is here to give us an update and some breaking news. Mike, welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Right. So, the breaking news you promised.
Okay. So we at Joule Assets so I have stepped away from engagement with Sustainable Westchester. And Joule Assets has pulled together roughly 3 billion kilowatt hours of supply around New York State.
Electric supply.
Of electric supply. And we are inviting communities in Westchester to join that bid because it is a powerful bid. And it's going to be in Q4, Q1 of 2017, 2018. And communities can get a plethora of really cool things if they join that bid, that powerful bid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is for electric supply.
Yes.
And can the municipalities bring to your company residents or businesses, or who will this electricity be made available to?
So if municipalities join with this bid, we will, what they would do is 100% of their residents who are currently buying with the utility or who are buying with the current community choice aggregator would then move to the winning supplier or suppliers. And so they would be buying on behalf of their residents and small businesses and saving substantially and buying far cleaner electricity.
So you're creating a new avenue for competition in the sale of electricity.
That's right. That's right.
Are you competing with Sustainable Westchester now?
We are inviting municipalities to contract with us, to engage with us. I certainly am wide open to engaging Sustainable Westchester as a partner in that endeavor, and to having them join us to provide services for it, because I think the sustainability focus is very powerful and very significant. Now, they are free to join or not in this case. I think their core capability is to organize in the grassroots, and I think that's a very powerful capability. I'd love them, I'd welcome them to participate, but we are moving ahead independently and directly with municipalities.
Now, part of what Sustainable Westchester did was to say, we'll lower your electric rates. You'll pay through us less than you pay directly to Con Edison. So are you, as Joule, now saying, come with us because you'll pay less through us than you're paying through Sustainable Westchester?
Well, it's interesting. Sustainable Westchester has saved millions of dollars in this first contract, and I think that we negotiated a very smart contract initially. However, now the structure, now it's a statewide regulations. At the time, what we got when I was chair of Sustainable Westchester, what we got was the ability in Westchester County to go ahead and do this bid, but nobody else anywhere in the state had that ability. But since, as of April 21st of this last year, the whole state, it's eligible, actually this year, of 2017, the entire state is eligible to participate in community aggregation. So I guess I haven't yet answered your question, so let me really try and do a good job of answering your question. We're going to continue to save. As a matter of fact, the difference between what we accomplished when I was at Sustainable Westchester and now is that we can guarantee savings over the utility rate for 20 years for 100% clean electricity. So
20 years is a lifetime,
Yeah.
though,
Yeah.
in the electricity, in the
Absolutely.
energy business. How are you able to do something like that?
Well, you've seen the way that community distributed generation works, the net metering around solar. And the way that works is that if you are part of a net metering installation, could be across town. If you're part of that, if you buy into a little sliver of that solar installation, basically your kilowatt hours are reduced by the, how much that thing is generating.
And
the
putting back
sliver that
into
you
the grid.
that you own.
Your
That's right.
The excess capacity
That's
of
right.
these little generation stations.
However, your kilowatt hours are reduced, which means that you don't pay the distribution and the distribution rate, and you don't pay the electricity rate for those kilowatt hours. So you're not just saving on the electricity portion of the bill, you're saving on the transmission and distribution portion of the bill because your kilowatt hours are being reduced. And so that's the way you can get these savings and guarantee these savings into the future. We're guaranteeing savings 20 years into the future against utility costs, and those are solar generators that are behind those savings.
Okay,
Does that have to be approved by the Public Service Commission?
We are cutting new ground.
Yes.
As you may or may not be surprised. So we have been having ongoing discussions with the Department of Public Service about how we intend to do this. We are about 3 weeks away from submitting our implementation plan to the Department of Public Service. All indications are that this is going to be a yes. And the reason it's going to be a yes is imagine you're starting a community distributed generation, right? You're doing 2 megawatts of solar. You need to find, 500 people to go sign up for that. It's expensive to find those 500 people to go sign up for that. So those 500 people, you're actually charging to go out and get the customers. The price of the solar is going to be a penny higher.
So you're going in with a ready-made customer base.
Exactly.
In essence.
So you cut a penny off right off the top. And the Public Service Commission, or the Department of Public Service, is very excited about the ability to be able to cut as much as a penny off solar rates statewide.
When you say statewide, what are you talking about in terms of customers? What are you looking for to make this viable?
We don't need that many customers to make it viable. For us, roughly, if we have two distributed generators, so 4 megawatts of solar, roughly you need 1,000 customers to really make that viable, and a substantial portion of their purchase will be with that solar. If it's wind, you actually need, it does more production, you need fewer customers.
Because this covers wind and solar, which are
Yeah, and
so
we're
you're
planning
branching
on.
out.
Yeah, we are planning on doing any renewable generation. We are planning to. It's going to be ubiquitous, and it's our intent to do a couple hundred megawatts around the state of specifically long-term guarantees that prices will be lower than utility rates.
Well, everyone's heard of Con Edison, but not that many people have heard of Joule in Upper Westchester County. So,
Sure.
They will.
so
I hope so.
How do you build confidence in the market in order to capture your customers?
Well, I think that we have, the contract that we built through Sustainable Westchester, that I and the director of Westchester Power at that time, Glenn Weinberg, built, the two of us built, now, let's be clear, that was cooperatively built with 20 municipal attorneys. We have deeply worked with those municipal attorneys. There's real confidence there when you're guiding municipal attorneys through a 45-page contract, and they are feeding back specifically what concerns and desires they have. That was a collaborative effort. There's a great deal of confidence there. Then the contract has been working for a year and a half. It's been working beautifully well, and we have specific things that we know we can improve in that contract, and the municipal attorneys can see, the impact of the good in the contract and the holes in the contract, and they can see how much benefit is with those little changes.
Well, Sustainable Westchester was a nonprofit. Joule is your intention is to be for profit. So, how do you maintain confidence among municipal attorneys and mayors and the other people who were involved in getting Sustainable Westchester off the ground?
First, as an aside, I want to say we are considering incorporating as a benefit corporation. We are considering that, which then allows you to do long-term decisions without being at risk with your investors. But more importantly, the structure of our compensation is entirely transparent and it's entirely aligned. And that's unlike Sustainable Westchester or any other, whether they're profit or nonprofit, any other organization. When you have a contract where your counterparty does better when you do better, then, and everything is completely clear and transparent, well then, that it's trust and verify. You have the verification, you know that they are aligned with you. That's core and central to our business concept.
Are the ESCOs that are currently supplying folks behind this program, do they stand to benefit, or are they
Well, okay,
to be cut out?
kind of, no, when you say, are they behind it? I could say, no, they're not behind it, meaning the hidden folks pulling the strings.
Right.
In fact, the ESCOs they do stand to benefit because if you think about it, 20% of New York is buying competitively right now, of New York State. 80% of the participating municipalities in Westchester County are buying competitively. So they took a market that was at 20% of the market, and we turned it into 80% of the market. The margins are lower. We are ombudsmen. We are protecting the consumer's interest and the municipality's interest, so you have lower margins, you have consumers' interests protected. Of course, that may be on one side, but the really responsible ESCOs, they find it positive that consumer interests are protected. We just quadrupled the size of their market.
How soon can you get these solar facilities, wind facilities?
They're already in. They're already in. Yeah, well, they're not operational yet, but they are already scheduled in the queue for when they're going to be operational.
About when would that happen?
It's going to be throughout 2018. They will be commissioned.
So does this represent the breakthrough that the country and the scientific community has been looking for in terms of shifting away from fossil fuels to renewables?
Prospectively, yes. This is about grassroots empowerment. It's about it's about the money going back to the locality. And when you have clear, transparent, simple, and less expensive renewable generation, and the money is going back to the locality, that becomes a groundswell of opportunity to literally expand the renewable market, I would say 3- or 4-fold.
Does Joule look to do this nationwide, worldwide, or are you strictly Westchester and New York State?
We are focusing now in New York State. New Jersey has asked us, a number of communities in New Jersey have asked if they could participate in this RFP. We're open to communities in Massachusetts as well. We are looking at Ohio. We're looking at Illinois. We are engaging in California.
So you are.
But we really are focused on New York, Q4 2017.
Getting started in the fourth quarter of this year
Yes.
and growing in the first quarter of 18.
Yes.
And as a businessman, you certainly must have looked beyond the first quarter of 18. What do you anticipate a rapid 45-degree growth chart, or will this be a slow build, in your opinion?
That's a decision that we have to make. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a solid 3 billion kilowatt hours. And then we do expect over 2018 we can expand to 6 or 8 or 10.
Almost tripling.
But more important than just that 3 billion kilowatt hours, it's if you have renewable generation in place for 20 years, and you've got guarantees of reductions on the utility rates, you have a 20-year relationship. When you have a 20-year relationship, you can do things like you can pay people for their capability to reduce when the power grid is under stress. You can start installing batteries in people's homes for free. You can start...
So that people can store electricity rather than having to draw from the power grid.
Exactly. And our eventual goal is to do for homes in the Casa Mesa what we are doing for businesses throughout the United States currently. So what we want to do is be able to say to the homeowner, you paid $2,000 last year for your electricity. We guarantee you that you will not pay more than $2,000 for the next 5 years. And you know what else we're going to do? This isn't a rate fix. This is a guarantee of total cost of electricity. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to give you free upgrades to your home. And if those upgrades reduce your price from that $2,000, 70% of it goes to you and 30% of it comes to us in a completely transparent arrangement where you're getting the lion's share of value, plus you're getting an upgrade on your facility. And you're getting guaranteed total cost.
Are the power companies a little bit worried about this?
No. The power companies, it depends who you mean. If you're talking fossil fuel generators, they're going to have to morph their business model. They're going to have to move into more clean generation, and I think they recognize that. And some of them that are behind may be more concerned about it. Some of them that are ahead see it as an opportunity. The Con Eds of the world, when you have an engaged and knowledgeable and grassroots activated community, Con Ed can now deal with Joule, knowing that Joule represents 300,000 homes. And Con Ed can go ahead and say, oh, we want to improve our infrastructure. Now I've got the engagement of 300,000 homes. I don't have to go out one by one to get these homes engaged. I think it becomes ultimately, for the utility of the future, an exciting opportunity.
Yes, but in Washington, they've made it plain that their intent is to maximize use of fossil fuels, to increase drilling for oil, to increase production of natural gas in this country. How do you try to get your business established in the face of a national policy such as that?
Well, delicately, I wouldn't say that this government, unified as it is, has been so effectual in Washington. I wouldn't say that we really expect, but there are some scary things happening in Washington, don't get me wrong. But ultimately, we rely on the fact that they can't seem to get anything done down there. And in parallel with that, we're just moving ahead because this is big. This is good business.
Right.
This is the smart thing to do. And eventually, those guys in Washington will see that there are hundreds of thousands of jobs, even millions of jobs coming in the energy efficiency industry, in the storage industry,
Inviting investment.
And as they see that, particularly in the Midwest, as they start to see that there are millions of jobs in the Midwest that are coming from these initiatives, I think that politicians are often followers, and yeah, they may see advantage in it.
Yes, whatever flag is popular, that's what they are.
As far as Joule is concerned, what do you anticipate for your own company in terms of size and activity?
What we'd like to do is we'd like to have 10 billion kilowatt hours next year. We'd like to be able to contract with a couple of hundred of megawatts around New York State for 20 years, specifically to guarantee lower costs for those couple of hundred megawatts. We'd like to be able to install 10, 15,000 smart thermostats so that folks can be earning money in electricity markets. It could theoretically be 30 or 40, but I think a modest goal is 10 or 15,000.
When you say 10 billion kilowatt hours,
Yes,
what does that
actually mean?
translate into in terms of houses or let's say a moderate-sized business?
It's close to a million homes in New York State, and maybe Massachusetts and Jersey.
So if you hit your target for, let's say, mid-2018, you will, as Joule, be the provider, contractor, consolidator for 1 million homes in New York State and the surrounding
That's
areas.
our goal. And the important thing from that is, what can you do? Can you contract for 20 years for solar and wind at a reduced cost, guaranteeing these folks reduced costs? Now, folks are engaged. Hey, you're guaranteeing me reduced costs for 20 years. Well, maybe I will turn over, you upgrade my home. Go upgrade my home. We upgrade the home. We actually send off the, PACE, Property Assessed Clean Energy, can pick up the back end of that investment. And we're now operating with a home that can earn money in electricity markets, not just save money, but earn money. Now we can begin to introduce storage into those markets. We can build an infrastructure that's far friendlier for far more enhanced renewable generation.
And the power grid is willing to accept this type of power.
Absolutely. Well, it's interesting. You can't do times 10 of renewable generation without a substantial storage capability. Mm-hmm. And so you need to create a storage market. It's very easily done.
I mean, is your idea a lithium-ion battery in every basement? Is that the objective?
It could even be hot water storage, where you're just simply able to inject by deciding when it is that you heat your water and when you don't heat your water. It could be lithium-ion, but it could be as simple as hot water storage. Or
throughout this interview, we've talked about Joule, and people think Jewel, like something, a ring type of Joule. But there's a different type of Joule here, which is a different spelling and a measurement of electrical energy.
Yeah, basically the most basic energy measurement. And our goal as a firm is to build the 21st century infrastructure, which means smarter grids, more resilient homes, smarter, cleaner power, less expensive, better facility by reducing Joule consumption and dynamically controlling Joule consumption.
Has Governor Cuomo given an indication of positiveness towards your plan?
Governor Cuomo has helped to build a market in which entrepreneurs like us can flourish, and he deserves kudos for that. with the chair, Audrey Zibelman, with Richard Kaufman, with John Rhodes, who's now taking over for Audrey Zibelman, who was the head of NYSERDA. He's had a crew, and he continues to have a crew, which is quite innovative and open and looking to empower. And they recognize that they're relying on innovators in the grassroots to pull together the millions of folks who are participating. They've set a nice stage.
Are you working with Europe and other foreign markets for a similar model?
We started about 10 years ago the industry association in Europe called the Smart Energy Demand Coalition. And we have gotten roughly a $17 million grant with 17 partners in Europe to do smart cities in Europe. We've been deeply engaged in building the dynamic energy market in Europe. We have a financing software which is actively engaged in Europe, which brings financiers together with project developers to do energy efficiency. So yeah, we're engaged in Europe.
Plenty of other places to go.
Yeah, we got a
with this
team
model.
working out of Modena, Italy.
And just quick, if someone wants to get in touch with Joule and sign up, even though you're not, ready to offer things yet, how do they get in touch with your company?
Well, we will be reaching out to municipalities to offer updates on the opportunities through community choice aggregation that are happening in Q4 2017. If anybody wants to get in touch with us, my best number is just my cell phone, which I guess I'm just going to put it out there. 914-282-7000 is the cell phone.
How will our new renewable energy rate be affected by this plan?
The new...
The cheap rate that I have.
Like he's on Sustainable.
Yeah. Oh, great. Well, your contract, if you're in South Westchester, it expires in May of 2018.
Right.
So communities that have not yet been involved can join immediately. Communities that have been involved with the Sustainable Westchester plan can join right now, and then that contract would be in place as of May 2018. And we'd be happy to work with Sustainable Westchester to continue their engagement in that program. Perfectly open to doing that as well.
Mike Gordon of Joule Assets, you have been heard. Breaking news and very complex. I suggest you watch this program again. John Bailey, Peter Katz, Jim Benerofe, good night for People to be Heard.
Thanks a lot.